We are live, coming to you live from the Mushroom MMA studios in lovely Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Here with a special guest today, folks. Everybody knows who Clint is. If you don't know who Clint is, you must have no internet. Technical difficulties, like I said, Clint. Listen, I'd say technical difficulties is always better than testicle difficulties, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But yeah, Clint, you want to say hi to my people out here? I'm sure they all know you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Mushroom, my guy, thank you so much for inviting me on the show, man. Been chatting on the internet, whether it's in my chat or on Twitter. We've been doing it for years now. So I love that we finally got on camera together. Thank you for inviting me on. And we got a big-ass card to talk about. I'm excited, so thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, my friend. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know. I think I got them in the right order. We're going to start off with Martin Buday versus Shamil Gaziev. As my guest, you can take this one, Clint.
Yeah, man, this one's tough. Honestly, I feel like I might have missed the boat a little bit. So, Gaziev was originally a little bit bigger of an underdog. We've seen a lot of money come in on him. This is trending closer to a pick'em now. And I kind of leaned towards Gaziev a little earlier in the week, but damn, man, I hate these contender series guys. Right off contender series, they're always overhyped, but this is the opposite situation. This guy came in as the dog. He's a scary 11-0 undefeated Russian. Why are they giving us such a juicy plus number on him? It's kind of got my head all twisted up in knots, man. I don't trust this guy. And, Mushroom, like I say, I can't trust him as far as I can throw him, and I'm not very good at judo. So I don't want to play this guy because he's impressive. He's got all these round one finishes, but they're over bums. They're over guys in the wrong weight class. They're over nobodies. And even though Buday has fought the absolute bare minimum level of competition in the UFC, those are still UFC guys. I would still take all of those guys over the regional bums that Gaziev is beating. So I can't really knock him for having bad competition because I'd have to knock Gaziev too. I have no idea, man. I don't know what to do with this fight. I really want to see them size up together because I think Buday is kind of filling out physically speaking. You see these guys kind of transform as they're in the UFC. They start looking like real professionals. He's kind of starting to do that, whereas Gaziev still looks like a bag of milk. So I want to see if he's gotten in any better shape. I want to see if he's in better shape. I want to see how they size up, if they're the same size, if MMA stats is right and Gaziev is the bigger dude. I could see this being a good live betting opportunity. And I thought about Gaziev earlier in the week, but I'm kind of hands off now, man. I think I'm just going to let this one kind of pass me.
Yeah, I hear you. I went back and forth too, but like you said, even though Buday's level of competition in the UFC hasn't been best, with it Barnett, Brzezinski, Collier, Parisian, but these are UFC guys. These are guys that have been there with better guys that I think that Gaziev has. Buday's got decent striking, a little, okay striking at least. He does have a little bit of power in his hands. He can maybe put up a little volume. He's got some good knees. I know he tries to keep a high guard. He likes to try to dictate the pace as well. He can wrestle. I think he gets like 50% of his takedowns. I like his takedown defense. I like his cardio. He's 5-0 in the fucking UFC. More pro in UFC experience. But look, he's hittable. His hands are low at times. He's kind of slow and plodding. The suspect competition. Barnett, Parisi, start naming these guys. I don't know, but on the other side of this fight, what do we have here? What is Shamil Gaziev? I get it. He's an undefeated fighter, and he's been out there with Russians, Dagestanis. I get all that. I'm not really impressed with what I've seen with him on tape. I mean, he's a decent striker. He does have power in his hands. I mean, he's kind of athletic for a fat dude. He does have a 1.5 inch reach in this spot. But man, he's fucking hittable. And look, he's mostly round one, maybe some real early round two finishes. So that makes me question what his card is anyway. He also gets big. I noticed he has a problem defending now. He hasn't been submitted. But man, there was some close attempts with a Kimura on this dude. So that's a tricky spot for him. The Kimura's a tricky spot. And I feel fraud vibes coming off this dude. I think he gets exposed. I like Martin Buday here. Buday by finish. I'm not putting my money on it. That's just what I see the outcome of the fight being.
I don't hate it. I don't mind that
No,
one bit.
no. Well, I'm just gonna run over my chat real quick. Got everybody in here. My guy Kiwi, always a supporter. Appreciate you. Luke McCann, thank you very much. Wish you luck as well. Justin Q out there. Anthony W, my friend. He knows what the bell means, Clint. The bell means it's time to smoke a cigarette. Even though I just got done one, the bell knows better than I do, sir. So we're going to keep that going. CCC, these are my guys. I've actually met these guys in real life a couple times. I went to a local event here in Philadelphia, C.H. Fury Fight Club or something. And then I've actually met 2 UFC events that I was at as well. So it's awesome. Good to see you guys.
I know the Chronic Combat boys. We know all about them.
Nice, good dudes. Nonstop Philly, another one of my guys. I appreciate you. Anthony W. again, thank you for stopping by. Yeah. Woo. Look at that. I like that. It's not like fucking Tony. I'll tell you that. I like the Colby part of it. But the bell does know the best. All right, Clint. I'm going to get us started off. Andre Fili versus Lucas Almeida. I'm going to start off on the Fili side. 1-3-1 in his last 5 fights. He's 33 years old. A wrestler. They got him as like a wrestler striker. He's a decent striker. He does have some power in his hands. He does have 9 knockouts on his record. He'll come forward. I think he's more technical here. He'll throw some volume. He's good at range. He can also wrestle too. 48% takedown accuracy, gets over 2 a fight. The guy can grapple. He's got good back takes. He's good in scrambles. More pro and MMA experience. I thought he's fought decent competition. Now look, he can fight close. I think he fought close. Even with Algio, he fought close as well. I think he fought close with Wood, even though he lost that fight. I mean, he can be hittable. He can get knocked out, wobbled. He's been knocked out before. And it just seems like he's not wrestling as much. He's liking to trade on the feet. He's one of these guys I think that fell in love with his hands for some reason. So I do question his fight IQ at times. The other side of his fight, Lucas Almeida, 3-2 in his last 5, 32 years old. He's a striker as well. He's a decent striker. He's got some fucking power in his hands. Decent boxing. He likes to give one to take one. He gets knockdowns. He gets knockouts. He has 9 knockouts himself. Wow. Pretty small for the division. He's kind of inactive for my liking. He's hittable. And he trusts his chin a lot. And look, eventually, it's not going to turn out good. One of these times, you're going to trust that chin, and it's going to clip. I know Fury's not some super crazy power puncher, but I do think he lands enough. I think he does enough in this fight. I like Fury in this fight. If you play Fury by decision, you can get that a nice number, like plus 250 or something like that. What do you think about this fight, Clint?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, man. I mean, you go back, even just his last fight against Nathaniel Wood. Wood would absolutely smoke Lucas Almeida, and Fili had him rocked and almost knocked out in the very first round. I mean, this guy is still competing with some of the best. You look at this run that he's been on. The only win he's got is over Charles Jourdain, and that's a guy who's streaking right now. Sadiq Youssef, Bryce Mitchell, Anderson Brito, like these are all killers, man. This is not the humdrum, run in the UFC, and he's fighting close with all of them. The only problem that I have is that he fights close with everybody. There's a chance that Fili can just kind of let down because he finally, gets that break in competition. But man, the one thing that kind of keeps me sharp here is when he had the opportunity to step down in competition last, it was against Daniel Pineda. And Daniel Pineda was saved by an eye poke. He was halfway to being murdered, man. Like, that was a brutal shit kicking, and Fili was absolutely destroying that man, but it gets overturned to a no contest. So his 2 wins are by split against extremely stiff competition, and then he lost to a bunch of really freaking good guys. So this is a break in competition, and the longer this week goes, the less I'm afraid of Lucas Almeida. I think I'm with you, man. I leaned Fili all week. For me, it's hard to trust him at a chalky price tag. But the more I think about it, the more I think he's the right side.
Yeah, I agree. I thought about it heavily as well. I like that side. I'm not putting it's not one of my official bets. Of course, all these things I talk about, I sprinkle in some kind of parlay or some shit, sure, at the end of the day. So, but yeah. Yep. Jump out. Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, big week. And so we got to make enough money to last for 4 weeks now. You know what I'm saying? So let's make it as funny as we can. Jeff Pelton, I appreciate you coming. Clint, to kick this one over to you. Cody Durden versus Tagir Ulanbekov.
Absolutely. Mushroom, this one is super easy for me, man. I'm not allowed to bet this fight. I'm not allowed to, because I have been talking shit about Cody Durden nonstop since he got to the UFC. Didn't believe in him one bit. Now the man has done nothing but rob me. He's proven me wrong. He moved over to ATT. He's getting better. The cardio issues don't seem to be as much of a problem. Like, this guy has turned out to be a damn good UFC fighter. Every time they've thrown him in there to be like, hey, we're going to use you to springboard this kid, he goes, nope, let me show you. And so, like, I'm done. I'm done betting against Cody Durden. And he actually, he called me out on Twitter. I got a ton of shit for Cody Durden mocking me for picking against him publicly on Twitter. It was pretty brutal. We made up. We're good. We're buddies now. But every single time when you're fading somebody, you fade, you miss, you fade, you miss, you fade, you miss. And then you go, okay, fine. I'm going to make my money back by betting on them. That's the fight they lose. Mushroom, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I have decided that for all of you out there who want to bet on Cody Durden, I'm going to save your money, because I will mush Cody Durden if I bet on him on Saturday. I refuse to put my money on Cody Durden so that you all can cash a ticket. And I better get grateful thanks for that when he gets his hand raised on Saturday, because if I bet on him, he's for certain going to lose. I can't stand Tagir Ulanbekov. I don't think he's all that great. And I think Cody Durden has just hit a second gear in his run here at the UFC. I think he can do a lot of kind of what Tim Elliott did, and just kind of put this guy on his back foot, make him work, make him wrestle, push the pace on him. When you bully the bully, it seems to work out really well. And I think that's what Cody can do here.
Yeah, well, then I'm going to have to thank you for not placing a bet on Mr. Cody Durden. I'm going to be picking Cody Durden in his spot. Listen, he's an okay striker. He's got some power in his hands. The guy has 6 knockouts, 3-inch reach advantage in the spot. He's got that awkward movement. He'll come forward. Look, he's big for the weight class. I like his wrestling, 50% takedown accuracy. Gets like 5 takedowns a fight. He can grapple. He's positioned over submission, so he gets good top control. But he still gets subs. He has 5 of them on his record. I like his back takes, and he's got good takedown defense of his own. I think he's fought decent competition. His losses aren't even the worst. He's got dog in him. And boy, does he win as an underdog a lot of the times, too. His cardio, I think, is improving. You mentioned that. Now, he has some suspect sub-defense, but it's kind of improving. And I know that he did survive that armbar against Hadley. Yeah, I get it. On the other side, not impressed with Tagir. Not really. I mean, he's got some good straight punches. I'll give him that. Pretty decent at range, decent kicks. He's a decent wrestler himself. He's at Khabib's gym. I know he hunts for subs. He does have 8 of them, but I'm not impressed with him. I don't like his cardio late. The guy's been pretty inactive compared to Durden. I think he's had like 6 canceled fights since 2020 on the Ulanbekov side. I'm over Durden. I'm taking Durden on the money line. I'm getting a plus 138. May even work in like a Durden decision or something like that into a parlay. But yeah, I thank you for not betting that side, because I'm definitely betting that side.
I'm doing my part for the people.
You sure are. I appreciate that. All right, next up, we got Alonzo Menafield versus Dustin Jacoby. You're up, Clint.
Yeah, man. So on this one, I'm a well-known Alonzo Menafield hater, right? Like, this guy's just a freak show fighter, in my opinion. They've given him much the same that they have done with Martin Buday. They've just given him the worst run of guys possible. They're doing everything they can to keep Alonzo Menafield relevant. And you know what? You can't hate him for it, right? Like, the UFC, they need their studs. They need their stars. They need the guys at the top of the pile. They need those workhorse boys in the middle that are going to get it done and fill those cards. And then you need those guys down at the bottom that are going to be feeders, and they're going to be fun, and they're going to produce highlights, whether it's for or against. That's what Menafield falls into. He's not great. He's not very good, but he's big, he's muscly, he hits hard, he can put up a highlight, and when he loses, boy, does he lose spectacularly too. So that's the kind of guy that he is. And he's facing a whole different level of competition here. You know, I thought he was going to get murked by Jimmy Crute after they ran that one back and Jimmy finally got his shit together. Turns out Jimmy was 1 foot in the grave and ready to retire. So that didn't turn out too well for me. But now everyone's riding high on Alonzo Menifield and they forget how badly he sucks. And he's 36 years old. So I think it's just a different world here. He's going to face Dustin Jacoby. If he can get his ground game going, he will grapple Dustin for 1 round. Congratulations. You better sub him in the first round, because if you don't, Fury is coming at you the rest of the fight. Jacoby is too quick, too good of footwork, too technical. He just has to survive getting nuked early. And if he does that, he wins this. So I think this favorite price tag is actually pretty cheap, because all he has to do is avoid that nuclear bomb. And I think everyone's just way too high on Menifield. They see his last couple fights and don't realize it was against a completely shot fighter ready to hang it up. That doesn't show you that he's any good. That shows you how bad Crute was at that phase of his life. I like Menifield, or not Menifield, sorry. I like Jacoby in this spot a lot.
Yeah. I'm on Jacoby in this spot as well. I mean, look, Alonzo Menifield, I get it. You know, he's got real power in his fucking hands. I get it. He's athletic early. You don't get some knockdowns. He has KOs, but his KOs, all his subs, that shit's all round one, man. That's all round one stuff. If he doesn't get it done in round one, and like you said, a guy like Jacoby, his fucking footwork, and Jacoby's got some fucking power in his fucking hands too. He's got a good jab. He throws fucking volume. He put on a pace. Good footwork, like you mentioned. He's good at range. He's got good leg kicks. He's got decent counters. Good front kicks. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's got decent takedown defense as well. And like you said, what's Menifield going to do? Wrestle him for a round? Like you said, if he doesn't sub him, I think that's it. Menifield can maybe win round one. Jacoby's got to probably take 2 or 3. He can maybe even finish Menifield late. I like Jacoby in this spot. It's one of my official bets. Jacoby, 3rd round, / decision play, plus 123. I'm hitting that all day. Yeah, I'm going to hit that all day. Moving on up the card, Casey O'Neill versus Ariana Lipski. Well, let's start off on the O'Neill side. She's 4-1 in her last 5, 26 years old. She's an MMA chick. She's a decent striker. She's got some power in her hands, I guess you could say. She does have a 2-inch reach advantage. She can put on some pressure. She's kind of aggressive. She can throw some volume too as well. She's a decent wrestler. I think she gets it at like a 42% clip or something like that. Gets almost 2 takedowns a fight. But man, the red flags just start popping the fuck up with this chick. Her level of competition. I've seen her get countered too. Her wins are not the best. She looks slower after these fucking surgeries too, when her comeback and everything. Mm-hmm. She's super, super takedown reliant. And I'll tell you what, on the Lipski side, I like a lot about her, to be honest with you. Decent striking. She has power in her hands. You know, she's the queen of violence, but she's been the queen of fucking pacifism for a while too. But let's get back to the queen of violence. Fast, athletic. Like I said, she's got some volume as well. She's got decent takedown defense, and her takedown defense has been improving lately. She's fought better competition. She fought close with Gatto. Now, she's not the best off her back, but I think she's improving that, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. She does have a suspect chin. She's been knocked out. I like Lipski in this spot. I'm taking Lipski on the money line. Don't know if I'm going to get to the window win yet, but it's plus 155. I really like that number as well. I'm chasing a lot of dogs this week, Clint.
I hear you, man. I think a lot of dogs are extremely live in this spot, and this one kind of bothers me, Mushroom. I'll be honest with you, because something in my soul tells me that Casey O'Neill is going to nuke this girl, and I know everything that you're saying, and I said the same thing myself, and I'm like, you know what? Her takedown defense is spectacular. If Gatto goes 0 for 7, you're not getting her down. You know, her takedown defense is impeccable, and that timing and the range and the kicks, like, it's all fantastic. But the last time she fought anybody with real hands who, instead of backing away, closed the pocket, it was Priscilla Cachoeira. And it took one good shot for her to throw the entire game plan out the window and start brawling. And that's part of my problem here, is that we've got Casey O'Neill, who is now long enough removed from that knee surgery that I would think she's probably going to start returning at least a little bit to the form that she was in beforehand. That's a speculation. We don't know. We haven't seen it. But I think that's what we can expect at this point from a young fighter. And she's working at a place like Extreme Couture, which frankly, her style is perfect for. Like, look at the other people training at Extreme Couture. This chick fits right in there. And I think the ground and pound is the best part of her game by a country mile. But could she knock Lipski down? Could she rock her and then get the takedown? Because like Gato was like diving in for double legs. You're not going to get that. JJ Aldrich is not a wrestler. You're not getting her down. So like, if she comes in and just pops her once on the jaw, I actually think Casey's got enough power to hurt her. And if she does, then it very easily could be a problem for her this night. So I'm very cautiously looking at the Casey O'Neill side of things. The big thing that I like, I think here, man, is O'Neill KO. It's 4-1.
Oh, wow.
And that's her most clear path to victory, in my opinion, because I simply don't see Casey outstriking Lipski for 15 minutes. It's not going to happen. She's not going to out-grapple her because we already talked about the takedown defense. And if she's outstriking her, if she's winning that striking battle, she's going to hurt her. You know what I mean? So I almost see Casey O'Neill's KO prop as her money line this weekend. Now, maybe you want to go inside the distance. Maybe you want to say, hey, maybe she gets a sub, something like that. But Lipski's actually pretty tough to submit. And when she's hurt, she's easy to pound. And Casey O'Neill likes to work with her hands. When she's down there, she's not looking for subs mushrooms. She is just beating the face of her opponent into the canvas. So I really think if it's a win for O'Neill, it's a KO. And I'm going to have a taste of that at some point. I'm not sure if I'm going like just a half unit straight on it. I'm not sure if I'm throwing it in one of my DEGEN parlays, and that's how I get that little sprinkle in there on it. But I think I'm going to go Casey O'Neill by knockout. And I'm going to watch very closely live because if she starts a little slow and gives away the first round and we get like a minus 120 going into round 2, something like that, I may jump in live.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a great look. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, she could clip, and Lipski's prone. She's been knocked out before. I get it. And especially, like you said, her ground pound is fucking vicious. I could see her fucking taking out Lipski on the ground as well. I'd like Lipski to hopefully weather the early storm. And then, like you said, I think it just gets better for her as the fight goes along. So, hey, it's good to disagree on something. But I like that prop as well. I'm going to throw that into something. Absolutely, not going to be heavily invested in that woman's fight. Got another woman's fight up the card that I can care almost less about. But Cody Garbrandt versus Brian Kelleher. You can kick this one off, but.
Yeah, so this one's tough for me, man. You guys know I'm a massive Kelleher fan. Love the guy. Friend of the show. He's been on the podcast. Follow each other on Twitter. Like, I love Brian Boom Kelleher, and I'm really hoping that he comes back and he makes a statement here in this fight because, man, Cody Garbrandt, he's just an absolute shell of himself these days, man. His last fight against Trevin Jones, he was looking slow. He gassed out. He was trying to wrestle, so he protected that chin. Like, my God, man, if he wasn't on the defensive since the start of that fight, he just he understands that his chin is gone. And because of that, he has to fight completely differently. He actually is a pretty decent wrestler, and that's kind of what he built his game on back in the day before he fell in love with his hands. And I think that's kind of what he's getting back to. I think he's going to do everything he can to keep Brian Kelleher away from his chin, and what that means is wrestling and grappling. And I'll be honest with you, man, I'm a little worried about Brian Kelleher because of that neck surgery that he had to go through. Like, I don't know what his health is like. He's a company man for the UFC, but he's one of those throwaway guys. He's not a guy that the UFC is going to be worried about protecting or saving. They're using him to get Cody Garbrandt to win. Let's be honest. That's what they're trying to do here. So if he's not 100%, are they giving him a paycheck on his way out the door? Like, they very well could be here, and that scares the shit out of me. So I'm very worried for Boom here. I'm going to look for live opportunities because of how shot Cody is. I don't mind the dog shot on Brian Kelleher because he really could like out wrestle him. Brian's got better gas. I can promise you that based on what we just saw. Brian's got a better gas tank and he can chin anybody. He's got some decent pop in his hands too. So I really do not mind the dog shot. But what I like here more than anything, I think, Mushroom, is Cody Garbrandt by submission. He does not have a sub on his professional record. He's never done it before. And he's doing nothing but bring in stud grapplers, people to get him ready to take this fight to the ground, because the big weakness for Brian Kelleher is that back take, man. He gets out scrambled, he gets out athletic, and that was the one thing we know that Cody Garbrandt has going for him. Remember the Dominic Cruz fight? It's that footwork, it's that speed. Like, if he can transition to Boom's back, it's a wrap. And I love my guy Kelleher, but that's been the Achilles heel of his game for years now. He's got 8 losses by sub, and it's all because he gets outworked in a scramble and gives up his neck. And especially with that neck surgery, man, what if somebody like Garbrandt is yanking on that neck right after it healed? That could be a recipe for a quick tap. You don't want to be hurt for the rest of your life. You don't want to be paralyzed. You're going to protect that wounded limb. And if he gives his neck up, I think he'll tap quicker than normal because of that. Not because of a lack of heart, but because he wants a life after fighting. You know what I mean? So 11-1, 12-1 on Garbrandt by sub to style on a guy on the ground that he's got a huge speed and athleticism advantage on. I love my guy Boom, so I'm gonna have to beg his forgiveness, but that number is insane. I'm gonna have to bet it.
Nice, yeah. I mean, that's a great look because, like you said, he has 8 sub losses. I don't know why he puts his fucking neck in, and he gets his back taken like crazy, and even trying to get up, he gives up his back. I don't like a lot of his game on the ground. Cody, like you said, Cody Garbrandt can wrestle. He gets about one fight at a 35% clip. He's decent grappler. He's fought some decent competition. He can be dangerous too, but man, he's fucking hittable. He gets wobbled. He gets fucking dropped. I think he's been knocked down like 7 times in the UFC. I think he has 4 knockouts on his pro record. So his durability scares me a little bit. His cardio late kind of scares me a little bit too. I think sometimes he can be low volume. And the durability just scares me. But again, on the other side, you got Brian Kelleher with the neck surgery, and like you said, if he does get his arm around his neck, I'm sure it could be a quick tap. Like you said, this guy, had the surgery. I'm sure he was in a lot of pain before the surgery. Whatever it did to correct it, I'm sure it was still painful, and I'm sure he doesn't want to go through all that fucking bullshit again. So, but Kelleher, decent striker. He does have some power in his hands. I don't think he has a lot of knockouts late, but he has power in his hands. He can switch stances on you. He's good in the pocket. He gets knockdowns. He has 8 KOs on his fucking record. He keeps active. I like that about him as well. He can wrestle, but he's not the best grappler. He does give up position. I don't like that shit. Suspect, real suspect sub defense with the 8 sub losses there. Jumps Gilly. He gets his bag. He does a lot of stuff I don't like to see fighters do.
You go to Brian Kelleher's apartment and he's got a picture of Cody Brundage taped up on his mirror. He loves jumping that guillotine, man.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, that's right. No, you're right. Loves jumping it. And I hate that because you don't get it. You're on your back. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, I myself, I was all over Cody Garbrandt. Really don't like it. His durability. I just think that I don't think Brian's had knockouts in a while. I don't know if his power's going. I put that power's usually the last thing to leave you when you're getting older. Maybe he can't throw as hard because of the injuries with his neck, things like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm with Garbrandt. I'm with Garbrandt as well. I don't know. I like Garbrandt by finish. Man, you're really talking me into that sub a little bit too. To sprinkle on. Really like that.
A little taste, man. Just
11-1, right? Was that 11-1?
I think DraftKings have it at 12-1 actually, but yeah, it's 11-12-1 out there market wide. Basically, it's a big fat juicy number.
I like it. That's a fucking great look. Fucking right, man. All right, moving on up the card, Irene Aldana versus Carol Holsa. Did you start off late? You can start it off. Go ahead, Clint. You can start this one off.
It's your show, man. You tell me. That's fine with me. Whatever you want to do. Man, Irene Aldana and Carol Hossa, 2 of the most difficult women to handle in the UFC from a betting perspective. They're just so damn inconsistent. You know what I mean? You've got Irene Aldana, who really has shown herself to be kind of a gatekeeper at this point. She loses to the legends, Nunez, Holm, Pennington, and we've seen her struggle on the ground. She absolutely has a grappling deficiency down there, but she didn't let that stop her against Macy. That fluky up kick to the liver that she got her with. Carol Hossa, much younger, 28 years old, still lots of room to grow and improve. And I think that's what I'm kind of banking on here in this spot. I think I like the dog just because she's got the speed, the output, that kind of stay in your face mentality. And she might walk right into a nuke, man, because Irene Aldana absolutely does hit hard, and she's coming off a very embarrassing loss where she basically turtled up and didn't do shit. So maybe she comes back in this fight with a vengeance. But I think that the younger fighter with the higher ceiling is Carol Hossa, and as long as she comes out there with an aggressive game plan, she probably goes ahead and gets the win here. So I'm looking dog or pass from a betting perspective, and if Carol Hossa was wise, she would look to the grappling. You know, if she started trying to take down Irene Aldana, that seems to be a definite easy path where some other fighters have found lots of success. So hopefully she grapples and we got a live dog on our hands.
Yeah, I agree. I'm on the dog here as well. Irene Aldana, you know, she's a decent boxer. She does have power in her fucking hands. Like she has a 43% strike accuracy. But God, man, you know, let's put it this way. She had that fluke liver kick. It's a fluke. Run that shit back 100 times. Is she going to fucking do it even one more?
Never happening.
Right. And look, she was minus 300 in that fight. And up to that point, she wasn't looking minus 300 in that fight. And look, bad showing against Nunes. It's like she did nothing. Her takedown defense is terrible. Yeah, I think Rosa can work her. I think she can make her work. I think she can put a little bit of a pace on her. You know, listen, Rosa's got a decent strike accuracy too. I think it's at like 60%. She's got some power in her hands, not much, but she's got power in her hands. She's a decent striker. Hossa does fight close at times, though, too. That's the one thing.
One of those.
Yeah, another one of those. You're right. She can wrestle. She gets something like a 47% clip, like 1.5 a fight or something like that. She can get some decent top control. Yeah, I like a lot more on this side. I'm liking Rosa's shit. I think I can get her on the money line at plus 165, but I'm going to be looking at her like decision prop too as well.
Yeah, that's not bad. I got a hard time seeing her finish Irene Aldana. I mean, Aldana's only been KO'd twice her entire career, and she turtled up and went a full 25 with Nunes. Like, that's going to be a tough ask for someone like Carol Hossa to actually get her out of there. And Hossa's a decision machine to begin with. You know what I mean? So unless she's got some slick new submission that Aldana's never seen, I kind of think it's going a full 15 minutes.
Yeah, I think the same way. Yeah, we're agreeing on a lot of stuff, but that's good. Short minds, I guess that's like. Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell. I'll start us off. You know, Josh Emmett, 3-2 in his last 5. He's a striker. Decent striker. He's got fucking power in his hands. Strong dude. He'll wrestle a little bit. He gets him at like a 37% clip, maybe almost won a fight. He's on a full camp here. But, man, I don't know, man. He gets wobbled. Oh, I don't like his fucking takedown defense is suspect at like 46%. Don't like his ground game. Don't like his defensive jiu-jitsu. He gives up his back. It's kind of slowing. He was training for a kickboxer in Chikazi. You know what I'm saying? Probably not training for tons of damage from Yair to Poirier. Bryce Mitchell, I guess, rolling off the couch for this one. But something tells me this dude's always in shape. You know what I'm saying? He's one of them fucking hillbilly dudes that's probably always fucking around, always in shape. He's an okay striker. But when he throws, he lands a pretty accurate grip, like 70% or something like that, I think. He's got good footwork. He can be in and out. But, you know, his bread and butter is going to be the wrestling and grappling. His wrestling's okay. He gets to like a 40% clip, but he gets like 3.5 takedowns a fight. Really good jiu-jitsu, good grappling, good top control, good back takes. He hunts for subs. The guy has like 9 subs on his record. He's fought, you know, he's fought some decent guys lately. I like his chin. I like his cardio. Is he undefeated as a favorite? I don't know. I'm gonna look into that again. I think I thought
that's a good question.
And short notice. I get it, short notice. Like I said, I think this fucking dude is always doing something. If not, he's probably out on his farm, you know, doing something that's fucking, you know, very labor intensive, keeping him in shape and stuff like that. I can see him rolling off the couch. I don't know. I'm wondering, with the short notice aspect, does he come out here and maybe try to sub him right away? Maybe try to get him out of it early so he doesn't have to worry about cardio late? kind of sneaky. I do like Bryce Mitchell to win this fight. Tentatively, I'd like him by decision, but in my DEGEN parlay, you could add him by submission. He's a plus 400 leg that would add on to that parlay by submission for Bryce Mitchell. So, what are your thoughts, Clint?
I don't hate that look whatsoever, man. I really don't. And I'm with you on Thug Nasty here in this spot. I really think he's the side. And we've seen that Josh Emmett struggles with guys like this. You know what I mean? His takedown defense is not solid, and he hasn't even fought like a tough strength of schedule as far as the wrestler grapplers in his career goes. He's mostly been fighting strikers and stuff like that. And frankly, he's just fallen apart, man. Like that has always been Josh Emmett's calling card, is how tough he is, how durable he is. You can't finish him. You can't get him out of there. Well, he got finished by Yair Rodriguez, man, and he got finished by Jeremy Stevens. I know Stevens was a long time ago, but like he's been taking these long layoffs. He's getting at the end of his career. He's almost 40 years old. Like that body just will not hold up after a certain amount of time. So I think Couch Thug Nasty is probably the worst case scenario for him as far as the style matchup goes. I think Bryce is just going to style on him however he wants, take him down, rinse and repeat. And even though Josh Emmett, you can never question his heart or his cardio, his conditioning, I still think he's probably going to be on the receiving end of just too much pressure grappling, and that could cause problems. You know, does he give up his back when he stands up, desperate to get back to his feet? Does he make a mistake in a transition and give up a sub? Like, I definitely think that the finish for Thug Nasty is very, very live in this spot, man. And the other thing people don't really think about, I know Bryce Mitchell doesn't have any knockouts on his record. He's got 0 wins by KO, but he's hurt a lot of people on the feet. Like he's got that farmer strength. You know what I mean? He comes in and he wings bombs and he cracks people. And I actually think that, you know, what a weird world we would be in that the grappler takes on a guy who's never been KO'd and somehow gets back mount and just pounds him into oblivion when he gets tired because he can't grapple with a man on this level. So I think that 10-1 KO prop has an outside shot of hitting with Bryce Mitchell. But from a money line perspective, even though he's a decent sized favorite at this point, I absolutely think that Thug Nasty is the side. And that makes me feel gross. I'm with you, Kiwi. I'm not a huge fan. I never want to hear this man get the microphone in his hand ever again. But it is what it is. We're making money, and I'm hoping that that's what we do here. I like Thug Nasty.
Yeah. I definitely agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, you know, there's a little bit of, there's probably a discrepancy on the feet, but the discrepancy on the ground is way, way more vast, in my opinion. I just think he has way more paths to victory. Yeah, I'm definitely all over Thug Nasty in that one. Oh boy, I don't even know why this fight is sanctioned. Can you tell me why Tony Ferguson is fighting anymore, Clint? Do you have any idea why?
Because Paddy Pimblett needs a win, man. That's why. Because Paddy Pimblett needs a recognizable name on his record. That's the only reason Dana hasn't had the talk with Tony yet.
That's a good answer. Oh yeah, you can start us off, Clint.
Yeah, no, Tony called in Uncle Dana and was like, man, I think I got to hang it up. And Dana was like, nah, bro, you got one more in you, buddy. You got one more. Come on. Give me one more, Tony. So, yeah, man, I hate this fight just because, yeah, we all love Tony Ferguson. It's the end of the era. He decided to go out the way BJ Penn did. And it's going to be brutal. It's going to suck. He's one of the best on the mic. He's going to talk a good game. We're all going to believe him that he's got a shot. And everyone couldn't be lower on Paddy the Baddy, right? Like, we know he absolutely robbed Jared Gordon blind. We know that fight was fixed for him to go ahead and get the win there. And he's now taken a bunch of time off for an injury layoff. People couldn't be more fed up with Paddy at this point. But you know what? He's young. He is big. He is explosive. He's athletic. And none of those things are Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is old and he's fragile at this point. And if you watch, there's a Twitter clip, Mushroom. I'm sure you saw it. Did you see the clip where he was trying to do his patented knee slide before his last fight? And he like gets down and like literally like switches his knees. Like he kneels on one knee and then kneels on the other knee. There's no slide. He doesn't move. The athleticism bar has dropped to 0. I am so sorry, but we are sacrificing Tony Ferguson on Saturday. I hate it. He's 40 years old. He's completely busted. And if you're getting finished, rocked on the feet and then subbed by a guy like Bobby Green, Paddy is finishing you. Like I don't know if he's going to hurt him and then tap him, or if he's going to just hurt him and then do what he did with Luigi and bite down on the mouthpiece and swing as hard as he can. Doesn't matter. Patty is going to finish Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I agree. That's my exact play too. They're my little thing at let me just do this one. But yeah, Patty Pimlet by finishes, and they're right there in the little green area. That's one of my official picks. I'm getting it at plus 105. It's like they're giving plus 105 for Patty Pimlet inside the distance. Don't even got to pick the method in which he's going to do it. I love that. I love it.
They're giving you plus money on that?
Plus 105. Rivers Casino, baby.
Wow.
How do you fucking pass that up? So I'm all over that one.
No, I love that.
What's Tony going to do? Use his old ass striking, his little jab that he has, his 3-inch reach advantage. God, what's he going to do with his wrestling? What's he going to do with his grappling against?
What sucks about this whole thing, man, is you rewind the clock. You go back just 2 years ago. 2 years ago, and this is a different story. Tony he's got technical advantages probably everywhere. But at a certain point, you lose the speed, you lose the durability, you lose the strength, that quick twitch muscle. It's a young man's game, man. It's not that Patty is better than Tony. He's just younger. He's just more durable at this point, and I think that's going to be the difference maker.
Yeah. Patty brings a lot of people to the fucking, brings a lot of people to the fucking TVs when he's fighting and shit. I'm sure the UFC fucking loves that. So I wouldn't be surprised if this fight went to decision and Tony clearly wins the decision. Patty's still winning this fucking hand ring.
I got a feeling this one ain't going, man. I think Tony's dead and buried, man. I just don't see it.
Yeah, look, he's done. He's hittable. He's taking lots of damage. He reacts poorly to fucking strikes now. He's slow. His knees are shot. He seems washed. His fucking cardio is starting to scare me even a little bit. His ground game's shitty. He gets stuck on his back. No get game. And again, Bobby Green hits him a couple of times and fucking subs him. Like, it's crazy. Justin Gage. Yeah, go ahead.
His whole thing, honestly, Tony, his whole thing has always been he's weird, he's awkward, he scrambles, he does things you're not supposed to do, but he was always athletic enough and fast enough to get away with it. That was his whole game. As soon as he got so old that he didn't have that speed edge anymore, his game dipped off a cliff because now you can catch him. That's it. He just got old.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Gaethje took his soul. He's on a 6-fight losing streak. Well, if we talk on Sunday, we can talk about how he's on a 7-fight losing streak. He's losing this fight. And I'm sure going to train with Goggins, I'm sure that's going to fucking help him. I'm sure that's going to help him. That might be the advantage he has in this fight. Nobody knows it. Patty Pimlet, man, they like this kid. They like his striking. He's got a little bit of power in his hands. He can throw some combos, throw some volume. He's big. He's strong. The kid's probably, but he's an okay wrestler, but he's a decent grappler. He has 9 submissions, so he's a decent sub grappler. I like his back takes. He can control you. He can control win minutes that way. He's durable. He fought for a broken foot, I think, with Gordon too. But he's hittable. So this is the spot to fade this kid. Oh, but it's coming because he is fucking hittable. He cuts a lot of weight too. All right, that's just going to catch up to him eventually. Again, he's being pushed along. He's getting suspect level of competition. I think, he got out grappled by Levitt in round 1, to be honest with you, I think, too. So there are holes in this kid's game. But Tony Ferguson is not the one that's going to be able to exploit it. We're going to be able to fade Patty. It's probably coming soon, but this isn't the fight. I got Patty Pimlet inside the distance at plus 105. That's an official bet. Second official bet of the night.
I might join you on that one, man. And I'll be honest with you. I think Tony might actually have a decent first round. That's the whole thing is we've seen Patty kind of take a minute to get his feet settled, and he has given up some of those rounds to these better fighters and stuff like that, and especially the Leavitt fight. But he found a way to get back into that fight. He found a single opportunity, and then he used that strength, that explosiveness, that athleticism. Kind of think that might be what happens here with Tony. Tony might show him the octagon for 4 minutes, and then he finds him. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be shocked if it wasn't over, first punch thrown type of thing. Patty might have to give him a minute, but then once Tony starts to breathe a little heavy and slow down, that's when he finds the kill shot.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm over Patty inside the distance. Love that play there. Shavkat versus Stephen Thompson. I'll start it off. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's have Cat side. He's a well-rounded guy. He's a decent striker. Thompson's probably the better striker here, obviously. But Shavkat's got power in his hand. He has 8 knockouts. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage in this spot, I think, too. His strikes are accurate. He's got good kicks. He's got a variety of kicks. I like his clinch work. Good strikes in the clinch, good knees in the body, good clinch takedown. Shit, he can wrestle too. He's got like a 33% takedown, but he gets like 1.5 per fight. Good trips too. So I know Wonder Boy's pretty good at defending like a single leg and a double leg. This dude's gonna fucking use trips though, and he's a good grappler when he gets on the ground. He's gonna hunt for fucking subs. He has 9 of them. He's got good ground and pound. The guy's dangerous. He has a fucking 100% fucking finish rate. I think that might even continue here. Shavkat, in my opinion, has got good cardio. He's dangerous everywhere, and he has killer instinct. He will not let you off the fucking hook. He's been fighting, coming up. He was fighting in Russia, Kazakhstan. Stephen Thompson on the other side of this fight, 40 years old at this point. He's a kickboxer. He's a good kickboxer. He's a decent striker. He too has some power in his hands. He's good at range, decent kicks. He's, like I said, he's the better striker here, in my opinion. I like his single and double leg defense, but I don't think you're going to like his trip defense in this fight. Now, he's survived on the ground with Muhammad, with Burns. I get that. Man, he's 12-year-old in this spot, though. His defense, I don't like the suspect takedown defense. I don't know how to play this because I don't know if Shavkat's going to want to even his record out. Is he going to want to get another? Does he keep it? What's he, 8-7 or something like that, right? Something like that. So I think he needs a knockout here or something like that, or whatever. He might want to even his record out. But I think that I think just the ground game difference here is huge. So if anything, if it's going to be a finish, and I think he does finish him. The finish is -175. I think if you want to get a little cheekier and make a little bit of money, you could go for the submission here in this spot as well. I think it would behoove him to do some wrestling and take this guy down because Stephen Thompson's those fucking slaps on the feet. That's for sure. What do you think, Clint?
Yeah. I think you pretty much nailed this one, man. There's not a whole lot more to add. The one thing I will say is that a lot of people are kind of questioning whether or not Shavkat is going to have success grappling against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. A lot of people I see going that were underrating Stephen Thompson's grappling, and just because he got controlled by those guys that are stud grapplers doesn't mean Shavkat will. Like, guys, Burns is a 155er. Like, I love Gilbert Burns. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's a 155er. He's not even a 170 pounder. Like, he's put on muscle and he's filled out at the weight class, and his jiu-jitsu is excellent, but like, he's not even the best wrestler at 170. And he was hanging on for dear life. That's how he got Wonderboy down, held him down, got the win, did what he had to do. But he's an undersized guy. Shavkat is a monster at 170 pounds. There's a huge physicality difference between those two men. And Bilal, while I love Bilal, and I actually want to see Bilal in the title circle, when he fought Wonderboy, Bilal is just a wrestler. Like, he always wrestles. That's what he does. Unless you donate your neck, he's not going to take a sub. So Bilal, by pure grappling domination, should not surprise anybody. He's a decision machine. It's what he does. Again, we're dealing with a different type of fighter here. Shavkat can get the wrestling going. He can get the takedown. Once he does that, he's pounding. He's looking to attack. We're going to get a finish here. He's not going to just sit on Wonderboy's chest the way that the other guys did. And then when they are striking, he's not a Bilal Muhammad who has to punch his way into range and takedown. He's not a Gilbert Burns that's diving on an ankle. He can strike. He's big. He's long. He hits hard. Like, it's Wonderboy is the better striker. We have to give him credit for that. But it's not one-way traffic on the feet with this guy. So, yeah, I like Shavkat here. I think he's getting the finish as well. I do think it probably is grapple heavy because why would you ever volunteer to stand with Wonderboy? If you have half of a brain, you take this man down. So I do think it'll be Shavkat on the ground. I do think it'll be Shavkat by sub. There's a chance that Wonderboy survives and this thing goes 15 because it's only a 3-round fight. But either way, Shavkat's getting his hand raised.
I like it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, definitely inside the distance. I think he finishes Thompson for sure here.
I agree.
We're at the co-main event. I'll tell you what, I like this fight. I really like this fight. Alexander Pantoja versus Brandon Royval. I'll let you kick this one off, Clint.
I love this fight, Mushroom. I've got 2 bets so far on this card, and they were both made weeks in advance. One of them is a parlay that anchors on Shavkat. The other one is Raw Dog Royval right here, man. They opened, my man, at plus 200. Can you believe it? The disrespect. And of course, everybody on Twitter, the very first thing out of their mouths is, did you not see the last fight? Did you not see the fight we just watched? Of course I did. We all watched that first fight. But what everyone seems to forget is that Pantoja was getting cooked. Like, he did catch the sub. But if he didn't catch that exact sub at that exact moment, if he wasn't so perfectly opportunistic, he was well on his way to getting his ass beat. My guy, Brandon Royval, was faster. He appeared to be the better striker. He was out scrambling Pantoja, and Pantoja looked like he was wiped, man. It looks like Raw Dog has the better gas tank to go as well. Now, I know we saw Pantoja just go 25 minutes, so maybe he's patched up some of that cardio concern. But at the end of the day, for my money, this thing should be a pick'em. I think Pantoja is exceptionally skilled, but I think Brandon Royval has for a long time been underrated. Now, as long as his shoulder or his knee doesn't fly off in the middle of this fight, there's a little question about his durability. I will admit that is a bit of a problem, but it doesn't seem to be something that's plagued him very much recently. I think he's got that sorted out. And if he comes in ready, which we always know Raw Dog brings it, I think he gets gold on Saturday, man. I really do. Now, Pantoja might find another opportunistic opportunity to finish him. Don't get me wrong. He very well damn might do that. But if you're giving me a fight I think is roughly a coin flip and I'm getting 2-1 on one side, I'm taking the dog. I'm rocking with Brandon Royval here. And I at plus 160, I still think there's some meat on the bone there.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad look at all. I mean, I'm starting on the Pantoja side. He's 4-1 in his last 5. What's he, 33 years old at this point? He's a decent striker, but he's got power in his hands. I like his striking. I like his wrestling as well. He gets him like a 44% clip or something like that, just about to fight. He's a good grappler, good in scrambles. He has good back takes, hunts for subs. He has 10 of them, and one of them was against Brandon Royval. Opportunistic, as you said, but yeah, I mean, I get it, but he had to get it. I think he had to because he was getting cooked 100%. He's got a good sub game. He's got good top control. He's durable himself. I don't think he's ever been finished, right? Good chin. Yeah, that's right. Never finished. More pro experience. He is hittable, but he's durable. Suspect cardio because he looks like he can push through it. But man, he just looks fucking bad. I kind of like that look. I get it. He just did go 5 hard rounds. Maybe, like you said, he patched that up. He better hope so here because fucking Royval was pretty much breaking him, I think, before he fucking got the sub. On the other side of this fight, Brandon Royval, baby, 3-2 in his last 5. 31 years old, MMA guy, decent striker. I like his power, high pace, pressure, volumes. Gets knockdowns, gets knockouts, good knees, good elbows. Look, this motherfucker brings the motherfucking ruckus, and he loves being in the ruckus. Sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. Look, he can also wrestle too. He's a good grappler. He's good in scrambles as well. He gets subs. He has 9 of them himself. Decent get-up game. He's willing to go for it. I'll tell you what. He's kind of, his durability is a little suspect. I get that. Man, but he brings the fucking ruckus. And again, that scares me about this. Like, it's good, but it's bad. But I'll tell you what, if he brings the ruckus again, I think the way he did, man, he was breaking Pantoja. You're giving me a pretty nice fucking dog number on the money line. And what'd you say, 160?
Yep, yeah, he's at 160 right now.
Yeah, come on. That's definitely good. He's hittable. He gets dropped. See him wobbled. Seems like he puts himself in bad spots sometimes. I don't like his takedown defense and the way fucking Pantoja just takes your fucking back. Clint, I went back and forth with this fight. It's a tricky fight. If anybody can say that they're 100% positive about a side in this fight, that there's something wrong because both of these guys are dangerous. I ended up on the Royval side. I like Royval on the money line. Yeah, that's a great price. Does he finish him? I don't know, man. Proto's is fucking durable, but this ruckus, man, it's something fucking different. There's something different about it. I'm going with my buddy Brandon Royval. I'm gonna take him
Love
on
it.
the money line. Love it, love it, love it. And no, right there.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Made it, folks. We're at the main event of the evening. Leon Edwards, Colby Covington, my esteemed guest, Clint. I'm going to let you take it away.
My man. So I didn't get a chance to watch the presser, Mushroom, but from what I understand, there were some very unnecessary words apparently. Colby has officially gotten under the skin of Leon Edwards. Now, you guys know I'm all hugs and cuddles and good vibes, and I want everyone to have a good time. But everybody loves a heel in MMA. Oh, my man, Blood Money in the house. What's up, man? You always need that guy that's going to sell the fight, right? And Colby's made a career off of doing that. But damn, man, I cannot vouch for the speaking on a dead father. You know what I mean? That's family, man. That's below the belt. That's not cool. Regardless of how good or bad the person was in life or death, like that's just fucked up. Right. But there's a massive but here. Colby has been doing everything within his power to get under the skin of Leon Edwards. He plays the mental warfare, McGregor-esque, obviously a different style, right? A different avenue, but he wants every single edge. He wants to win every single second leading up to this fight. And Leon has prepped for this man's shtick. Everybody knows what's coming. Everybody knows what's happening. He's up there enjoying himself, laughing his ass off on the stage, basically just disregarding Colby as a clown. But Colby got him. It was fucked up. It was not cool. It's not okay to do that. But Colby got him. And is Leon going to be able to control his temper in the cage on Saturday? Is he going to fight emotional now that he's got this guy that spoke on his father? Like, he completely lost it at the presser when he did that. And that's been an issue for him in the past, is fighting too high or too low emotionally. It's been a thing he's struggled to control his entire career. From a fight perspective, Colby just made a really good move to get a slight edge over his opponent, if I'm being honest with you, man. Facts are facts. And this fight is tough. This fight is really tough. I think it's disrespectful to make the seeded champion an underdog. And in fact, Mushroom, almost anytime we see an underdog champion, they almost always win that spot because they're the favorite for a damn reason, you know? And so Leon's got to be the favorite here. But I think his run is kind of fraudulent. And now the problem is, if I'm calling out Leon's run, I've got to call out Colby's run too. 170 it is the weakest division in the UFC, man. It is absolutely brutal in this division. We've got like 2-3 guys, and then everybody else, thank God for this new wave of 170-pound fighters that hopefully will shake this regime up, because these assholes fight once a year with each other and then refuse to fight each other. And then we get sidelines and skits and videos and they talk shit to each other, but nobody gets in the damn cage. I want to see some movement at 170, man. I want to see this division finally shuffle a little bit. But I actually think that Colby is in a decent spot here to maybe beat Leon Edwards. We saw Leon really struggle with the wrestling grappling. He has his entire career. I know he's working on it. I know it's a thing he's put a lot of focus into. But Colby, I think, is on par with someone like Usman as far as his wrestling grappling. And in fact, he pushes a higher pace than someone like Usman does. Usman might be, physically beefier, stronger, but I don't know that Leon is ready for the relentless pace that Colby puts on. And Leon, for all of his skills and abilities, it's almost exclusively the head kick that he has that like really hurts his opponents. You know what I mean? He is a more talented striker than Colby, but he doesn't really hurt people with anything but the head kick. So I don't know if he's going to be able to get Colby off of him. I kind of think Colby Covington's decision prop is his money line here, man. I think it's the same thing, because believe it or not, I actually cashed on Colby finishing Tyrone Woodley. I sprinkled the 3, 4, and 5 round props. And the only reason that hit is because Tyron Woodley's rib popped out. It was a complete fluke. It was a complete accident. You've got an absolutely cooked Tyron Woodley that's ready to take acting jobs where a raccoon eats his dick. I'm not kidding. Look it up. It's a real thing. And that's a guy Colby Covington could not finish in a cage. So he's not finishing Leon Edwards. He absolutely is not. And not to mention that there's the whole angle of Trump being in the octagon. They want him to wrap the belt around Colby's waist. We know Dana White's a huge Trump fan. If there was ever a narrative where you're like, maybe the judges lean a little one way when they shouldn't, it's probably for the guy Dana's buddy with. I just think that it's going to be a clinch fest, man. I think it's going to be a grapple fest, cage control. And I actually kind of like Colby for the upset a little bit here. I have not made a bet on this main event. I do think it's close. I have always been a little bit down on Leon Edwards in general, but I think Colby wins, and then hopefully they make Colby Covington versus Bilal, because that's the grudge match I actually want to see.
Yeah, great breakdown, Clint. Leon Edwards, what's he, 4-0-1 in his last 5? Decent striker's got some power in his hands. I think he has a 2-inch reach advantage in this spot. I like his body kicks. He's got good knees in the body. He's got some cage work and some clinch work and stuff like that. Some decent knees. He can wrestle, grapple, a little ground and pound. Is he bigger here? I don't know. Look, he can be too patient sometimes, in my opinion. He can be low volume. I honestly think he's been ducking Colby Covington. Didn't he didn't they call out like Chiesa or somebody like that?
Yeah.
No, man.
He sat on the sidelines forever to avoid that fight when Colby was calling his name. He didn't want it.
Absolutely. I think Colby's been preparing for this fight in particular. I like his striking. He throws lots of volume. He'll come forward, pace, switch the stances. The guy can wrestle at 45% clip, gets like 4 takedowns a fight. He's a good grappler. He can get subs. He does have 5 of them. It's something he can do. Good control time. He's a grinder. He's been training for this fight. I like his cardio. He is on that, 2-year layoff, though, I get it, but I think he's been training for like a year at least for this fight. I like him in this spot. It's one of my official bets. I got my little arrows going. I'm getting at Colby Covington on the money line at plus, what am I getting him at? Plus 135 or something. What was that decision? I don't know, but I got whatever I'm playing, it was plus 135. So there are my 3 official bets. Covington, I think it's on the money line for plus 135. Pimblett, by finish, plus 105. Jacoby, 3rd round / decision at plus 123. And at the end of my show, I always like to do a little DEGEN parlay for the people. We hit 1 this year. I would like to maybe hit this one at the end of the year. Let's see what we can do to make a little more money. So my DEGEN parlay, and see, I don't do any fancy banners. I don't put the shit on the bottom of the screen. I'm not very technical with this stuff. I promise to improve in 2024, but that's next year. We'll get there when we get there. But for now, I have a 3-leg sub parlay that I think is a little DEGEN, but it does have a chance of hitting. So I got Paddy Pimblett by submission as the first leg of the parlay. Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission as the second leg. And just to do it, even though I'm on the other side of that fight, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to put Pantoja by sub in there. Okay? You can play that. That's a plus 1913 for my 25 hours. I'm going to get 503 back. You can take away Pantoja and add Bryce Mitchell to that. And I forget what that number is, but it's fucking huge. So Pimblett, Shavkat, and Mitchell by sub is going to hit bigger than that $503 for your $25. Did you have a chance to put one together, Clint?
Yeah. So I'm all prepped and ready to go here for you, man. I think what we're gonna do. Let me get this up here. I want to make sure I quote the appropriate odds here for you. Since you went sub, I'm gonna go knockout, and we're gonna do Casey O'Neill by KO Paddy Pimblett by KO, and then Brandon Royval by KO. So in the main event, or the co-main event, we'll be head-to-head on that one. I'll be looking for the Royval knockout. You'll be looking for the Pantoja sub. And I got 74 at plus 7,400. So $25 would win you back $1,800.
There you go. And I think what you could do is we could play both of them, and this way if we make it that far on both of them in the main event, either way we still have that ticket. We still have Royval by knockout on the one, and we still have Pantoja by sub on the other one. So I think we're still in a good spot there. If we get that far on both of them, I think we're really in a. Oh, we can't, because Pimblett by sub and you got it by KO. All right. Well.
Yeah, why don't we just go Pimblett inside the distance? We both like him to finish.
I'm good with that. That's one of my official bets anyway. I'll take that. It'll take the odds down a little, but I like that. The O'Neal pays pretty good too, right? What's that pay?
You know what? Here, let me flip this around. So I want to make sure we're not going head to head with each other here, man. I'll change this up real quick here. So I'm gonna go Pimblett inside the distance, Casey O'Neal by KO, because I think those are both fine. And then you know what? I'll go Dustin Jacoby by knockout. So that's a cheaper one. 23 to 1 it looks like. So $25 will win you back about $575.
I like it. I'll play it. Okay. I'm going to tail that one for sure.
There we go. Casey O'Neal KO, Dustin Jacoby KO, Paddy Pimblett inside the distance.
Okay. Clint, I appreciate you coming on the show. It was excellent. It was like an early Christmas present. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So I just want to real quick just say, this is Clint McLean. If you don't know and never heard of the Diehard MMA podcast, you're living under a rock. That's underneath another rock. That's really far in the ground. You have no internet, no YouTube, no Twitter, no nothing. But Clint, just in case, why don't you tell the people where they can find you?
I appreciate it, my man. Thank you so much for inviting me on tonight. You guys can always find me over at Pub Sports Radio. Look for the Diehard MMA podcast on any social media platform. Easiest way to find me, but I do my live show on Monday nights, always on Pub Sports Radio. That's where I will be. Mushroom, my guy, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the invite. I'm sorry it took me so long to get the opening for you here, but hey, how would you rather end the year? Best card of the year, big ass pay-per-view. This worked out pretty well. So thank you so much. It was fun, man.
I do appreciate it, Clint. Thank you very much. Now, you are a guy that I notice that always has something positive to say at the end of your pod. Do you have any positive words you want to leave them with since we have a month off?
Yeah, you know what? With the month off, man, I always just try to remind people about, how tough it is for some people out there family-wise around the holidays and things like that. But I already hit that. I already talked about that one on my show. So, let's look a little further in the future because New Year's is right around the freaking corner. And we are going to have an absolutely epic 2024, man. I know there were some ups and downs in 2023. Thank God I bounced back. I had my best betting year possible this year. But I know a lot of other people had a rough year here in 2023. We are going to, as a community, MMA Twitter, all of us, we're going to have an awesome year in 2024. So everybody make sure you have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy every family or friend you've got with you, even if those people are online. Like if your friends are MMA Twitter, hang out with the boys, watch fights, gamble on football, mind your bankroll. Don't blow your entire wad between now and January 14th because we're going to need those bullets coming into next year. But of course, always gamble safely and responsibly and make sure when you're partying over these holidays, check your keys, folks. Don't drink and drive. Make sure you're being safe. Protect your friends, protect your family. Don't put yourselves or anybody else in harm's way that you can absolutely avoid, but enjoy the shit out of yourselves. Have a wonderful holiday, everybody. Just make sure you do it safely.
Thanks, Clint. Thank you very much. I'll just ask you to hang out when we end this real quick so we can just have a quick chat. And listen, all my supporters, this is my first year doing this. I appreciate everybody who's liked, subscribe to my channel, the people who take their time out to listen to this fucking gravelly voice dribble on and on. Tonight was a calm night for me. Usually I go out on these old man tangents, and I didn't do that tonight because I had a respectful guest on tonight. Look, thank you, everybody. Clint McLean, I'm hoping you get to that plus 100 unit mark, crushing the bookies this weekend. If not, you'll be back with a plus 200 for next year. I know you will. Thank you very much, my friend. Everybody else, I'm a guy that celebrates Christmas. You guys celebrate something different. Enjoy that. But I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Also, my advice is drink irresponsibly. Drink responsibly. That's my advice. But everybody be safe. We want to see you back here. We got more fights coming in January. I might do a couple shows in between cheesesteaks and chit chat. I've been working on things like that. Thank you very much, everybody. There's only one thing left to say, and that's let's fucking go. Oh, and violence. Thank you. Thank you.